Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level speaking lesson, and today we're going to be talking about life in the Australian desert. So what is life like in the desert? Here's some pictures to help you if you know these vocabulary words. So some things you might find in the desert: red sand, hot weather. People might use four-wheel drive vehicles. This is a wide-brimmed hat, sand dunes, and a small town. And what are some of the plants that you might find in the Australian desert? Spinifex grass, Stewart's desert pea, wildflowers, salt bushes, and eucalyptus trees. And these are some of the animals that you might find in the Australian desert. An echidna, a dingo, a possum, a bilby, a wallaby, and a kangaroo. And here are some other things that you might find in the desert. A wedge-tailed eagle, a bearded dragon, a thorny dragon, a cockatoo, and a brown snake. Here are also some places that you might see in Australia. A water hole, a dry riverbed, a national park, the Flying Doctor Service, a gorge, and a cattle station. All right, now you can pause the video and read this text on your own, or you can follow along as I read. My name is Jordan. I live in a town called Alice Springs in the center of Australia. Alice Springs is a long way from any city. My town is in the middle of the desert. There are a lot of desert regions around the world, and each one is different. Most people in Alice Springs live in houses. The houses have big verandas around them to protect people from the sun. In the summer, the temperature can reach 45 degrees Celsius. I work at the Alice Springs Desert Park. I am a teacher. Visitors come to the park and I talk to them about the desert. For example, even though the desert is very hot, there are many different types of trees. The most famous tree is called eucalyptus. Most people know this tree because koalas eat its leaves. In the desert, there is spinifex grass and many wildflowers too, like the beautiful Stewart's desert pea. Many animals can live in a hot climate, like kangaroos and wallabies. However, most animals are nocturnal, which means they are awake at night time. You might be lucky and see a bilby or a possum. And there is the thorny dragon, which is really a lizard. There are also dingoes too, and birds like eagles and cockatoos. Most of the year there isn't much water, but usually some little water holes. If you live in this part of the world, you must be very careful about the amount of water you use. The Aborigines, the first people to live in Australia, help us understand the land better and how to look after it. Of course, it is not always hot in the desert. In fact, at night it can get very cold. So if you come here in winter, don't forget to bring a jacket. Right, so now think about these questions, and then these will be some questions that you'll practice speaking about a little later on. So how is life in a desert town different? What is interesting about life in the desert? Many people live in desert regions around the world, and do you know about other deserts? Do you think that life is more difficult in a desert region? And is there a desert region in your country? All right, so now you can practice writing down some notes based on the reading that we just did. And then when you've done that, I'd encourage you to speak your answers aloud. If you have the opportunity, and I'd also suggest maybe recording your voice and listening back to it later to help you identify any pronunciation or grammar problems that you might be having. And so that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.